Hi, I am Wenzhong Li. I'm a professor of epidemiology and biostatistics at National Taiwan University. My research area is epidemiologic methodology. I have developed a number of new methods throughout my research career. For example, I developed new methods for testing causal mechanistic interaction and mediation based on the causal pi model. I also extend the causal pi model to cover all types of data, including cohort, survival, and case control data. I developed new methods for the non-traditional case control study, including the case spouse, the case offspring, and the case-only study. I propose new methods for ROC curve and the Lorenz curve analysis. I also propose a new curve, the so-called ADAPT curve. The ADAPT curve is an extension of the ROC curve, where the false positive and the false negative can have different utility values. I also derive bounding formula for major confounding and selection bias. These are the mathematical bounds rather than the confidence bounds in the usual sense. In another line of research, the GWAS and the omics data are the so-called large P, small n data. Large P means the number of variables is very large. Small n means that the number of subjects can be small. I developed large sample series for this kind of data, where it is the P that tends to infinity rather than the n in the usual sense.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm Guolong Jian. Now I'm a professor of the Institute of Epidemiology and Preventive Medicine, College of Public Health. And also I'm a cardiologist in the National Taiwan University Hospital. And my research interest is focused on the cardiovascular disease epidemiology. We have conducted a community-based cohort study based on one community near Taipei City. It's so-called Jinshan community. We collect more than 3,600 participants and follow up more than 20 years older. Among this cohort, we have discovered many important risk factors for the cardiovascular diseases in Taiwan, especially for the coronary heart disease, stroke. And we found that primary prevention risk factors such as the diet and hypertension, hyperlipidemia, and hyperglycemia are important for the risk of cardiovascular diseases. And beside the community-based cohort, we also investigate the risk factors or the drug loss from the hospital-based data and the national health insurance data. My team have focused on some pharmacoepidemiology research for the risk of the diabetes and the potential loss of some drugs for the prevention of the cardiovascular diseases. Also, we have constructed several prediction models to predict the risk of the stroke or cardiovascular disease in primary prevention.
My name is Xuanhou Li. I am a associate professor from the Institute of Epidemiology and Preventive Medicine. My background is medicine. I trained in medicine and also in epidemiology. And my research interest is mainly in the infectious disease epidemiology, as well as the measurement of disease burden. So in the field of infectious disease epidemiology, I mainly focus on the research of tuberculosis, So we did studies to explore the risk factors and determinants of tuberculosis with a particular interest in the interaction between the non-communicable disease, the NCDs, and the TB. So as to correspond to the most recent SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals. And in the field of disease burden analysis, we have been conducting the analysis on measuring the disease burden in Taiwan, and in particular we're interested in the contribution of different risk factors on disease burden. So we've looked at a number of risk factors in terms of their contribution to the mortality and morbidity in Taiwan. So in this part, we've been collaborating with the Global Burden of Disease Analysis, the GBD analysis, to contribute to the part of Taiwan. And in addition to these, I'm also interested in the economic analysis of disease burden. So recently we just started a national survey on the financial impact of tuberculosis on the household. And we're looking, it's going to be one of the first in the world to look at the impact of the infectious disease like TB on the economic or the financial status at the household level.
Hello everyone, I'm Yonglin Leo Li from Institute of Epidemiology and Preventive Medicine in National Taiwan University. My major research interest is on children's health, especially on environment and the genetic predisposition for the childhood diseases such as asthma and atopic diseases. From 2007, we established a community-based children's cohort named Taiwan Children's Health Study in many communities around Taiwan. In the baseline data, we found many environmental factors such as air pollution, incense burning, and home dampness, which is very special in Taiwan, was associated with childhood diseases. And then we try to collaborate with the risk assessment professor and found some rare toxins such as phthalate and perfluoro substance in the human body was also associated with childhood asthma. We collect many growth parameters such as obesity and body height and weight, and longitudinally follow the children's health for the pulmonary function growth and disease development. We have published many papers related to obesity, children's growth, and childhood asthma development, which we are very happy to show this result with you.
Hello, my name is Zupin Lu. I'm currently the assistant professor in the Institute of Epidemiology and Preventive Medicine, College of Public Health in the National Taiwan University. My research topic is to use high-throughput genomic technology to study a variety of disorders, including cardiovascular disease and cancers. For example, we focus on the genetic variations of arrhythmia-related disorders such as Brugada syndrome and long QT syndromes. Brugada syndrome is a severe arrhythmia-related disease, and their patients have a high chance suffering from the sudden cardiac death. However, these carriers have no symptoms before their heart attack event. Therefore, we aim to identify some genetic patterns to pre-select these high-risk individuals, and thus we can do some preventive actions to stop the tragedy event. In our recent works, we have performed a genome-wide copy number variation analysis in the Brugada syndrome patients by using three different platforms, including microarray, real-time PCR, and whole exome sequencing. The result indicate that a deletion segment located in the GSDN3 can be found in approximately 50% of the Brugada patients, whereas the proportion of the deletion segment is less than 20% in the normal populations. The preliminary functional assay showed that the deletion segment can affect the structure and the function of the normal heart in the zebrafish animal models. So currently we are performing more studies to reveal the functional impact of this deletion segment.
My name is Yanjun Karen Chen. I serve as the professor of Institute of Epidemiology and Preventive Medicine at National Taiwan University. My research focuses on health issues which include dementia and cognitive function in the old people. My research includes two parts. The first part is a case control study on dementia between 2007 to 2011. This was a case control study which recruited Alzheimer's disease and the small vessel vascular dementia patients from neurology clinic of 3 teaching hospitals in Taipei, with a total of about 1,000 participants. A large part of this study was to explore genetic factors in relation to dementia. We explore candidate genes involved in inflammation, neurotransmission, and neurotrophin. I also conducted the first genome-wide association study of Alzheimer's disease in Chinese population. Instead of using p-value for selection of genetic markers, which suffered from high false positive, I used 10 practical performance metrics, for example, like sensitivity and specificity, to select genetic markers with sound prediction in Chinese. Another important part is environmental factor. Based on the same data set, we found that long-term exposure to PM10 and ozone was associated with 2 to 3-fold increased risk of clinical diagnosed Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia. The importance of this study is to facilitate environmental protection agency to consider dementia as one of the health outcomes while revising the air standards. The second part is an ongoing cohort study on cognitive function in non-demented old people started from 2011.
Hi, my name is Weiliang Shi. I'm a project-appointed assistant professor of the Institute of Epidemiology and Preventive Medicine and Infectious Diseases Research and Education Center, which was set up by Ministry of Health and Welfare and National Taiwan University. And my research interests are about genetic studies and epidemiology of enterovirus, which try to discover the correlations of viral and host genetic features and the clinical manifestations and of enterovirus infection, and to investigate the long-term health consequences of the children who were recovered from enterovirus infection is also my interest. And currently, we are studying the seasonality and the spatial heterogeneity of enterovirus infection, type 1 DM, and their associations in Taiwan through the use of National Health Insurance Database and National Notifiable Diseases Surveillance System Database. And we also try to investigate the effect of control strategies for such as class closure for enterovirus in Taiwan. And this is my brief self-introduction. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rui Xianglin. I am Project Assistant Professor of Institute of Epidemiology and Preventive Medicine. I am majoring in epidemiology, methodology, and biostatistics. My research area is about causal inference, especially sufficient component cause model, or called causal pi model, which has recently received much attention from epidemiology community. Sufficient component cause model conceptualize causation as a collection of causal mechanisms, each requiring component causes to operate. If two factors participate in the same causal mechanisms, we will say there's a synergism between two factors, also called sufficient cause interaction or simply mechanistic interaction. Under the sufficient cause framework, we propose a series of methodology in different epidemiology studies. In the previous studies, the Pearl ratio index of synergy based on multiplicativity present is an index specific to test sufficient cause interaction. We extended this index to a complementary log regression in cohort studies and case control studies of rare disease. In complementary log model, the researcher can adjust confounding and assess the adjustment effect turn and the sufficient cause interaction by entering appropriate covariates. We also provide the detailed instruction on how to perform such a regression using existing statistical software.